Welcome again. I'm Veronica Clark from the website How Do I Go On? And I'm here with my friends Ashley Burke and Sandra Winchester, and we're talking about grief and loss. In the last two sessions, we gave you some tools to help you better deal with grief. We talked about prayer and meditation, and then studying and journaling. We will certainly be mentioning those tools today with our new topic. How do you regain hope and maintain faith after the loss of a loved one? So I was recently part of a study done by Northampton University on young people who were widowed. And they were looking to see how hope was influential in healing from grief and loss. Their findings suggest that hope directly impacts healing. So why do you ladies think hope is so critical to healing from grief?
Well, hope for me has been, it's been key. It's been one of those things where I feel like without hope you have nothing. And for me, some days you have to have hope, but that's okay. So hope for me is the basis of everything. I even have a plaque in my bedroom that talks about that hope is what anchors us, and I believe that is what is getting me through.
And that's the name of your blog too, Hope Anchors.
That's the name of my blog.
Yeah, I think we have to believe that life is going to get better and that we're going to find happiness again, or we just will give up. And I think when people give up, then they can fall prey to all sorts of bad things, addictions, depression, and then they kind of lose their ability to act. And as we lose that ability to act, we find it harder and harder to find hope. So I agree with you. I think hope has to be that rock that we count on, and it becomes that anchor because it's what gets us through to the next day sometimes.
Yeah. I think, too, we have to realize that hope is going to come in baby steps. Like, for me, at that time in my grief, I didn't have hope in the world. I didn't have hope in humanity. I didn't have hope in a lot of things, but I did have hope in my 5 little children at the time that they were going to get me through, and I had hope that I had a Savior who loved me, and I had a God who created me and knew what I was feeling, and that was pretty much the basic hope that helped me through that time. And then I started to gain other hopes, hope in men again, hope in whatever it is that you've lost hope in. It doesn't have to be like, today I have hope and tomorrow I don't, like cut and dry. It can be like a building block of, today I'm going to let my kids in and I'm going to let God in, and that's going to be enough for today. And then when I get more comfortable with that, I'm going to let other things in to have hope in them.
And that just like leads us into the next thing that I wanted to talk about, because I had the same issue. In the beginning, I really felt like all this fear and just despair, and I didn't have a lot of motivation to move forward in life. But yeah, there were a few key things that I could put hope in. And so, I mean, you were kind of telling us how you find hope again, because I think that becomes the process, is like, how do I regain that hope? So what do you guys think about that? How do you find that hope again?
Well, I really think that Ashley kind of already nailed that in a sense, because it's like for me with my children, I've found hope in my children. I've found hope in the fact that I get up in the morning and I can still function. I mean, sometimes it's that basic, just those basic things, your basic needs that are being met. You find hope that, hey, wait, today I saw the sun. Maybe there is something there. It's a day-by-day thing. And hope, sometimes, I even said this just a few minutes ago, to me, some days you just hope to have hope. And you just have to have that little bit in you that tells you that it's going to be okay. And it's not going to be, some days you're going to be better than other days, and some days you're going to just not feel a whole lot of hope. But you just need to find those, it's finding those little things that you can look at. It's just taking time to look at something, and that's where I think gratitude comes into hope, is when you find those things you're grateful for, you develop that hope. So that's, for me, gratitude is what's helped me. Gratitude is what, in essence, has helped me to find hope again. Gratitude.
Yeah.
Good point.
Hope can't be this, I hope that someday everything is exactly how it once was. Because then all of a sudden you're stuck in the past and you can't live now because you want what you had before, and whatever it is that you lost, it's not going to come back. So a hope to have that regained is not going to happen. But a hope to build a life from where you are and hope that it's going to be just as great or even better, it seems impossible in that moment, but it can become possible by those little baby steps of faith in something to.
And Ashley, oh, sorry. I think you make a really good point, because we can hope in things that are going to fail. And I think for me, that was part of my problem. I had this hope in this perfect life. And if your hope is in things that are going to fail, I think you're going to be disappointed. We have to make sure we place our hope in things that are permanent and, that aren't on temporary or fleeting things. And when I remind myself of that and I think, okay, what are the permanent things? For me, one of those permanent things is that God loves me, and I can put hope in that. And that love can be powerful, not just to make it like things better in the end, but I have hope that He can help me through things, my day-to-day trials.
Yeah, well, and I think the thing that came to me when Ashley was talking about that too is, I think you find hope if you stay in the present moment. For me, if you're looking back, like she mentioned, you feel miserable and you feel like, wow, that was amazing there, and I can't have that again, or that was horrible, and whatever it is. And if you're looking to the future, you can't have hope there sometimes because you can't think past the day. So I think part of hope is staying in the present moment and finding things that you're happy about in the present and not go back and forth. I think that really has helped me as well.
Yeah. All right, so we've talked a lot about hope now, but how does faith kind of connect and tie into hope?
Well, they're so like hand in hand for me. Like on a day when I didn't feel a lot of hope, it was because I couldn't find my faith. Like I felt so disconnected from what it is that I believed in that I couldn't have hope that there was going to be something great again in my life. So I think that they kind of are a foundation for each other, and without one, the other one is lost. And as you strengthen one, the other one builds.
I agree. I think hope reassures us that what we're doing in faith is going to actually pay off. Like for instance, somebody goes to work every day because they have this hope that their employer is going to pay them at the end of the week. And if you didn't have that hope, if you thought your employer was going to take the money and run to Cancun, you probably wouldn't finish your work week out. And so, like everything we do, that we act in faith, and you kind of talked about this, that you felt paralyzed, but our actions in faith are always based on some hope we have that this is going to be a positive thing. And so, like, the hope will sustain us. Because the truth is, not everything that we do we immediately get this positive reinforcement for. Sometimes we have to wait. If I want to go on a diet and I eat healthy all day, one day I don't see the positive reinforcement, but the hope that it's going to work keeps me doing it day after day. And so that hope will sustain me through the hard time while I'm waiting for that benefit, but it keeps me acting in the meantime when I'm not getting it.
And if you're in that scenario and you're having hope that your sacrifice is going to work, you have to have faith in a plan that you've created. Faith in, okay, I have faith that if I eat these foods and I exercise, then my hope that I'm going to get this. But without the faith in the plan, your hope will not be as strong, because you'll hope to be changed, but if you don't stick with that faith in the plan that you've been given, then it's kind of all for nothing.
Well, in essence, faith is an action. It's your faith. When you act, then you're able to develop and you get the hope. It requires action. So faith is kind of the catalyst. It's what gets you going, and it helps to develop your hope. And they're very interconnected. It's kind of like a circle thing. They're just very interconnected.
Yeah, and that leads right into the next question of why faith is so essential to healing. And I think you discussed a lot of it, that it's an action. And it's that power that gets us going. And, for me and my belief in God, I also think it's the mechanism that allows God to bless me. When He sees I act in faith, then He can give me more blessings. There's this phrase, God helps those that help themselves. And I kind of think it's true in the extent that God waits for us to act so that then He can reward us, because the goal is to get us to learn to act. not to just, bless us. But so he holds that carrot out and says, come on, take this little step in the dark. And so I think, faith helps us move forward. And without moving forward, we won't find healing. We have to act to find healing.
Absolutely.
I almost picture at the end of our life, we get to heaven and Christ is there and he's like, okay, let's go over all of this. I saw that this was really hard and this was really hard and this was really hard, but that's not so much what I'm concerned about. What I saw is in that moment, you still believed in me. And in a moment when someone else would have gone this way, you chose this path that you knew you were supposed to be on. And that's what makes me proud to have you here. And I think that will be what we rejoice over when we see him again, is that he knows that we had a hard time. All of us are going to have a hard time. Every single day, there's going to be something hard. But in those moments, did we give up, or did we cling to that faith that we could, unite with him someday and hope that our good decisions, even though it's hard, are going to bring us somewhere great?
Yeah, it's all about teaching us to make good choices and to use that faith in a positive way. I don't know, Sandra, did you have anything else you wanted to add? We're kind of getting here to the end. We're going to break.
Just the thing that I've learned through this whole process is, like I shared a minute ago, is faith is a catalyst. And it does this, we can read all we want. We can read about faith all we want. We can read about healing all we want. We can read about hope. But bottom line is this: it's the action that helps us heal. And the faith is action. And so for me, that's what I have learned. It's the doing that's helping me to heal. It's having that faith, exercising that faith, and it's creating more hope. And in essence, it's creating more faith. It's just the action part of it, and that is so essential to healing. It absolutely is. Absolutely.
Well, we're going to break here, and we're going to continue this topic next time on our next session. So thank you, ladies, so much for joining me. It's just amazing always to talk with you. So next session, we're going to be talking more about how we can act in faith in difficult circumstances and how we can handle our doubts, which also kind of keys in with faith. So join us for more about faith and hope. But for now, we invite you to subscribe to our channel and follow the links below and visit our Faith and Hope webpage. We hope to see you all soon, and until next time, have a blessed day.